Hi everybody. So we're getting back to working on the rudder and brake system. So the rudders are in, right? Everything is good. I got the bag of missing connectors from Behringer that I needed to do the brake lines, and so now we're just going full force. What we're going to be doing is making 8 distinct lines for the thing, and I'm going to show a picture at the end of the video of what it kind of looks like. So we've got 8 lines to make, right? The anatomy of this brake system is as follows. Up front at top is the brake reservoir. That's on the far side of the firewall. You can't even see it. But that comes through the firewall, and then it tees into 2 lines, and those 2 lines go down to the right brakes, right into the right brake master cylinders. Those are the end for those 2 cylinders. On the out of those 2 cylinders, because they have 2 holes apiece, so leaving those and then going to the left brakes is another set of lines, right? So that delivers brake fluid to the right brakes and then now over to the left brakes. The second line from the left brake master cylinders now goes to the parking valve. Well, I say parking brake. It's just a valve. What happens is you push the rudders down to engage the brakes, thus putting pressure in the system. You close off the parking brake valve, and it basically just holds that pressure in place. That's all it's doing, right? It's like using a vacuum jar for your coffee. As you're sucking the air out, it's just holding that in place. That's all the parking brake does. And then it goes from the parking brake valve out to both wheels. And then later on, when we put the landing gear on, we'll put another piece of line down to the brake calipers. But that's the entire braking system. And there's 8 lines of various lengths. It's easy enough to just go ahead and measure it by hand. So basically what I do is I put one fitting on the end. I go and I put it in place where it's supposed to go, and then just kind of hand sling it over to the next location, and to make sure there's some slack. I thought I put more slack than I needed to, but in the end, after doing all the lines, I think I wound up with like 8 inches of surplus. Right. Now, I don't know how much surplus they were envisioning on giving, but I do know that 8 inches isn't enough to do even the shortest line. I think the shortest line is like 18 inches, roughly. There in the vise, you saw how we connected a banjo joint. So one end of these lines can be just a straight screw-in joint, which requires just 2 wrenches to tighten, right? Or it's a banjo, which is a very specialized joint, and that requires to be put inside of the soft vise when you tighten, because there's no like facets on it to put anything on it like a socket or anything. And you'll see that a few times as I'm making those. Let's see, one piece of advice. So there's some lines on the parking brake valve. So there's 4 connections to the parking brake valve, right? The 2 that come in from the left brakes, and then 2 that go out towards the tires. One of the ones that come in from the left brake is really hard. It's the one on the bottom. You're not going to have a good time trying to put that thing on. It'll be easiest just to take the whole parking brake valve off, put that line back in. Now that's after it's been cut and sized correctly, and then tighten that up, and then put the parking brake valve back on its bracket. So, pardon me. So anyone that's noticing, like, the video's looking oddly bright. Yeah, it was getting really dark, so I'm fudging with the video's brightness. There you can see it just got a little bit bright again, just so you can kind of see what I'm working on here. But yeah, all the lines are made. The only things I have left to do is 1, pull up my pants. 2 is I still have to put on the fittings by the landing gear braces. Okay, so before we go, I just wanted to show you some pictures. So here's a few. Here's what the master brake cylinders look like. So this is what the line's on. Now I don't have there are copper washers that have to go on. I have not put those on. Here is here's another picture. All right, that's the parking brake valve, and here is the main. Here's what everything looks like from the front. So that's sort of what we got. I got some wire ties and stuff to put on. I'm not completely happy with it yet, but I mean, that's just the rough out, right? That's all the lines. That's what it's going to look like. Plus, I need to torque the jam nuts on those master cylinders. There's still some stuff. So I'll do all of that in the next video. We'll put on the fittings. We'll see how that looks. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you soon.